Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. My name is Andrew, coming to you from the beautiful Carolinas. Today's topic is going to be why it isn't always what you think. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So I'm referring to the narcissist, and I'm referring to post-relationship specifically, but not exclusively. You see, many times people believe that the narcissist post-relationship is living their best life, and they're all off with the new supply, gallivanting the globe, eating s'mores, snickerdoodles, it's unicorns and puppies and rainbows and butterflies. Well, not so fast. You see, the narcissist is still the narcissist, and what they're doing is what they know how to do. They know how to manipulate people. They know how to take advantage of people. They know how to get people stuck in that narcissistic fog, and they know how to take advantage of unsuspecting individuals. Again, that was who you were. You were most likely a clean slate, just like myself, which means you weren't educated on narcissism, so you believed in another person's words that they would match their actions. Before you knew it, it was too late. You were now in the trauma bond, and you were being devalued more and more and more. That is the narcissist's weapon. It is keeping people trapped, keeping people stuck, keeping people believing in the mask and hoping that nobody ever figures out who they are. But you figured it out, because here you are. You're in the community and you're getting your cup full. But realize it's not always what you think. It's not always the way you think it is. Because when you're thinking, specifically if the relationship ended recently, when I say recently, maybe a few months ago or within a year or two, whatever recently is to you, you may be thinking that, yeah, the narcissist, they're gone, they're off, and they're living their best life, and they're traveling the world, and they're happily married with the new supply, or they're with the new supply, or whatever they're doing. Well, that's not what it really is. What it really is whoever that person the narcissist is taking advantage of, or maybe the narcissist is being taken advantage of themselves by someone even greater with more toxicity than they have. But whomever it is, that person is either A, believing in the mask, B, a recycled source of supply and they haven't broken the trauma bond, or C, whatever number I'm on, they're a toxic person. But what you're thinking about, that they're living their best life and everything's going great for them, that's not how it is. You see, the narcissist still needs to regulate themselves by using other people. They will still, and I mean always, be triangulating people. They will always be financially abusing people. They will be verbally abusing people. They will be smearing people's names. Think about when you were in that relationship. When you were with the narcissist, yeah, they may have been physically with you in the room or in the area, but mentally they were checked out so frequently. That's why they were on one of their 3 smartphones getting your replacement. That's why they were looking to see who would be at the barbecue and who was coming in, who wouldn't come. They would check the list, and if it was worth their time, they would show up. But if no one special or important to them was going to attend, many times they would pass because it just wasn't worth their time. You see, this is what the narcissist does. It's what they did before they met you. It's what they did when they were with you, and it's what they're doing right now. But it's not the way you think it is. Post-relationship, in the beginning of the healing path, many of us think the worst case situation, because that is how our mind is wired. We're believing the words that the narcissist told us. We're believing the toxicity, and the venom is still running through our veins from the narcissistic abusive cycle. This is why we have to heal. This is why this is a relationship that you must heal from. And this is why the narcissist knows what they're doing. But when we, post-relationship, we're thinking that they were living their best life, etc., that's not how it was. It really wasn't. And you may say, well, no, not so fast, Andrew. My ex, the narcissist, they are living their best life and they're all over social media, etc. Well, first of all, my hope is you're not peaking at social media. Second of all, my hope is you're healing or you've healed. Third of all, when you reach that pinnacle of indifference, that mountaintop of indifference, you could catch a glance of a picture that perhaps is posted or maybe someone shared with you, and you could say, wow, they actually look completely different than I envisioned them, and they look worse than ever. Or maybe they do look okay, and you can say to yourself, wow, they look okay, but you know what? They're aging, and their toxicity, I can see it in the pupils of their eyes in that picture. Again, you should not be looking at pictures of the narcissist. You should be off social media. You shouldn't be peeking. You shouldn't be driving by their house. You should know nothing about them. You should have a small footprint, and you should not let the narcissist know anything about you, which is why in so many videos I create, I suggest to go no contact, to block these people, delete them, remove them, and all flying monkeys and people associated with them. Having said all those things, The narcissist, when you were considering all the toxicity that they dumped into you and you're believing it, and you don't have the wisdom, it's natural that you would believe in the words that were pummeled into your brain for years or months or weeks or decades, because you were believing in the false narrative of the narcissist. You were believing in the mask. That's why they were verbally abusing you and gaslighting you and triangulating you and smearing your name, etc., or ghosting you or giving you the silent treatment, because these are the manipulating techniques and tactics that they administer, but not just to you, to virtually everybody they encounter. But again, post-relationship, when you were thinking that they were off into the sunset, just doing everything the best, that's not what it was. Remember, at one point, you too were the new supply. At one point, you thought that you struck gold, but you found out it was fool's gold. It was pyrite. It was worthless. It was just like that lemon on a used car lot that had a brand new paint job, and the sheen and the luster of the paint of the car drew you to the car, and you purchased the car without giving it a test drive. Next thing you know, you get off the used car lot, and the car doesn't run. And the used car salesman is nowhere to be found. That's the narcissistic relationship in a nutshell. I'll also go back to the forbidden fruit example. Picture, if you will, there's an orchard with apple trees everywhere, and there's beautiful apple trees or apples everywhere, and you pick one off the tree, and it looks amazing, and you're so hungry, you shine it on your jacket or your coat, and you get some of the wax off of it, and boom, you take a bite. Well, there's a larvae inside of there. It's rotten to the core. There's your narcissist. There's your narcissistic relationship in an apple, as an example. Not trying to be graphic, but this is what these people do. They look many times great on the outside, and I'm not referring to physically. It could be their resume, it could be their intellect, the way they talk, it could be the way that you met them. Maybe you met them in an organization, or maybe they were a professor at a university, or maybe they were a librarian. Who knows where you met them or how you met them? Point is, they were manipulating you and anyone they met. They were using their job or their occupation or their presence as a way to draw people into the fly trap or the web of deceit and destruction. But having said all these things, the narcissist was doing to you what they had done so many times before they met you, and this is what they're doing now. So when it's not, the reason why it's not always what you think it is because we tend to romanticize how the relationship was when we were in it, and this is when we're out, and we tend to romanticize how well we had it when we were in it, and we didn't have it good at all. And we also tend to romanticize about how well the narcissist is living their life. All three of these things are what the narcissist wanted us to think. They wanted us to think that we were worthless. They wanted us to think that we would never amount to anything. They wanted us to think that no one would ever love us again, or that we were unlovable. And they also wanted us to think that other people would be fortunate to be with them. This is the illusion. This is the house of cards. This is the false relationship built on quicksand that the narcissist portrays, but not just to you, but now to the new supply. This is what they will do as long as they are breathing air on the planet. They will make it seem like everybody wants to be with them. They will be triangulating people. They will be keeping people stuck in the fog. They'll be taking people really high and dropping them really low. You never get stability in the narcissistic relationship, because one thing the narcissist doesn't want is commonplace or stability. They want uncertainty. They want misdirection. They want manipulation. They want confusion and chaos. And above all, they want people believing in the mask and listening to what they're telling them. So when that relationship ended that you were in, it probably came out of left field. It ended with a thud, a crash, and a bang. And you did not know what narcissism was because you weren't taught this when you were younger. You had no idea what had just happened. Well, what had just happened is you were jettisoned, or you just exited or were exited from the worst relationship that you had ever been a part of in your life to this point. And my hope is you're never in another one. And if you consider where you were and where you are, you won't be in another one once you utilize the tools that are provided for you here on the channel. But having said all those things, when you are still thinking about the narcissist, you are still ruminating, you're still wondering, and you're still trying to heal and trying to figure out what happened and how they could do what they did, those are early days on the healing path. I was there, you either are there or you were there. This is when you need to be patient with yourself. You need to really understand that that person who you just were in a relationship turned out to be your worst enemy. They don't love you, they didn't love you, they don't care about anybody, and they certainly don't care about the new supply. The only thing the new supply provides is what you used to supply for them, which is utility and an opportunity, and to get them from one leg of their life to the next leg of their life. That's all the new supply will be doing, whether you know it or not. Now, having said those things, many times we build things up in our mind and we think the worst case situation. And when we do that, what we are doing is we are predicting the future, or we are telling ourselves the worst case, thinking that that could be reality. Now, post-relationship, that is a very daunting place to be. It's a very challenging place to be because your mind is still in the narcissistic fog, and you have to do so many things to get yourself out of that. What I just explained to you is also what I experienced, and it's what each and every one of us experience until when? Until we don't. And when we don't, that's when we've healed, or we are well on the healing path. This is when we no longer care about the narcissist or who they're with, what they're doing, or anything about them. That is eventually when the light switch or the light bulb will go off in your mind, and hopefully you'll go no contact, etc. And if you've done it, drop comments below. If you haven't, my hope is you're about to do it. But anyway, you cut it. When you are still thinking that the narcissist is out on the planet living their best life, that means there is a lot of work to be done by you. And this work must be done by you and for you to benefit you. This is the work the narcissist doesn't want you to do. The narcissist doesn't want you to heal. The narcissist doesn't want you to figure out what narcissism is. The narcissist doesn't want you to go no contact and block them. And the narcissist does not want you ever to see behind the mask and realize what kind of relationship you were just in. Now remember this, boiling it down, very simple layman's terms. If the narcissist doesn't want you to do something, what does that mean? Bingo. It means you should do it. Flip it. If the narcissist wants you to do something, most likely you shouldn't be doing it. Keep this in mind. If you say stop, the narcissist says go. If you say left, they say right. So now that you are out of the relationship, and if you are still thinking that the narcissist is living their best life, or they're entering the best relationship, whatever you're thinking, that is not reality. That's not truth. That is smoke and mirrors. That's what the narcissist wants you thinking, because the narcissist wants to live in your mind rent-free. They want to have the ability to leave that avenue of communication that perhaps is open right now, and it shouldn't be. It should be sealed airtight, but perhaps it is open. They want to leave that little avenue of communication open so they can kick it wide open at a later date, which would be a hoover. And remember, for all of you people in the community, a hoover by the narcissist, it does not mean that the narcissist wants to get back in a relationship with you. Quite the contrary. What it means is they're testing to see if you have healed, if you have seen behind the mask, if you are hooverable, if you're open to communicating with them, if you will give them that old smelly sock from 15 years ago, the tube sock that has the stripes around it from when they played softball in the grade school, whatever it was. Or if they can still get that old ravioli jar that was down in the basement that has nothing but rusty nails in it because they're trying to do a science project. This is what the narcissist does. They want to keep stuck in your mind. They will use any excuse they possibly can to try to draw people back into communication with them. It doesn't mean a relationship. You need to get that message. Once you have figured out who the narcissist is, and they know that you know, it's game, set, match. It's over. You have now won. This is when you should be going no contact. This is when you should be blocking them. This is when you no longer will be thinking the worst case situation that the narcissist is living their best life and they're off gallivanting the globe with the new supply and it's all unicorns and puppies and everything. One day that will click with you. If it hasn't clicked yet, it will eventually, because what you will understand if you haven't already is this. All of the beautiful, bright, shining light that you possess within yourself, all of the energy, all of your resources, your time, your commitment, your focus, when that is all going into a bottomless pit, which is the narcissist and the narcissistic relationship, there's no way that relationship could be sustainable because the narcissist was consuming everything you would provide for them and more. Now flip it, once you're healing, all that energy, and after you're healing, all that energy goes back into you. When it goes back into you, the narcissist becomes small. The smaller they become, the stronger you become. The stronger you become, the less they matter to you. The less they matter to you, the more clarity arrives in your mind. The clearer your mind arrives, the tinier and tinier they get in that rear view mirror of the brand new car that you just purchased. Not a used lemon, not a car with a fancy paint job that doesn't run. The brand new car, which is called your life. And you are driving away from the narcissist. You're not driving towards them. You're getting as far away from them as you possibly can, so they become itsy bitsy teeny weeny in your rear view mirror, and eventually they're gone and they don't matter to you. And so this is when, again, in a year, 5, 10, if you happen to cross someone who knew about the narcissist or knew something about them from the past, maybe it's a sibling, who knows, and they bring something up because they got information, and my hope is they don't, but if they did, then you can say, wow, that was a long time ago. Oh my God, I can't believe I got out of that relationship, but I'm living my best life and I'm doing great. I don't care about them. I don't want to know anything about them. I'm sure their life has gone sideways more than a few dozen times, and that's their problem. Just stay away from me. That's what you will say, because that's the path. The path is to know nothing about them, to not be predicting the future, thinking that they're doing the best thing and they're living their best life and they have the best clothes and the fancy hair and they're going to all the best dinners and all. No, that's all smoke and mirrors. You were living that life for a period of time and you were providing a lifestyle for them. And I will tell you right now, if you really pay attention to this part of the video, it should open your eyes. The people that were in the relationship with the narcissist before you, they were thinking what you were thinking after you were discarded or after you removed yourself from the relationship. They were thinking that you were getting the best of the narcissist and that you were gallivanting the globe with the narcissist and that you had everything great. Well, the truth is that that's not the case. You thought that in the beginning of the relationship too, but you didn't know what narcissism was. And all the people that were in the relationship before the narcissist, I'm certain most of them never even figured it out. That's why you're the strong one. That's why you're the resilient one. That's why you're the courageous one, the intelligent one. That's why you're the one who's on the healing path. So many people before you who met the narcissist and were in relationships with them, they never cracked the code. They never figured it out. And guess what? Many of them won't ever do either of those things, because if they haven't done it by now, the chances of them figuring out are actually pretty small. It doesn't mean they won't. What it does mean is you did it. And that's why you're here getting your cup full. So understand, there were new supply sources before you. And those people, when they got discarded or when they exited the relationship, they too were thinking what you were thinking when you were discarded or you ended the relationship. They were thinking the same thing. They were missing the narcissist and wondering what had happened. The thing is, those people probably haven't healed. I'm not saying they haven't, but probably they haven't. But you have healed or you are healing. So now, fast forward. Once you reach that pinnacle, that mountaintop of indifference where you no longer care about the narcissist or anybody from that period of time, then you can say to yourself, you know what? I'm immune. I'm bulletproof. I'm 99.999% healed, and I don't care about the narcissist or anybody from that period of time because I already had the dark night of the soul. I had all the sleepless nights. I had all the mornings I had to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning and be at work by 7, and I only had 15 minutes of sleep. I had all the rumination. I had all of the journaling, the meditation, the watching videos, the reading, the seeing a therapist, the healing childhood wounds. I had all of the self-isolating in the cocoon of boundaries. I did it. I did it all. And every day I continue to keep my cup full. And I pay attention to red flags. I trust my instincts and I trust my intuition, things I didn't do in the past. And above all, I have boundaries. I can say no, the strongest word in the English language. When you get to that mountaintop of indifference, the pinnacle of indifference, the view is abundant. The view is amazing. And there is so much room for you and for non-toxic people. That's the best view you're ever going to find on this planet called Earth. And to get there, you will have to do a lot of work to get there. And unfortunately, the only way to get there is to go through something like the narcissistic abusive cycle and come through it and rise through the ashes like a phoenix and put yourself back together and dust yourself off by the bootstraps and heal. And when you do these things, then eventually you stop living in the past. You take the lifelong learning lessons from the past. You don't predict the future. You don't think the worst case, where they are, what they're doing, who they're with, because you don't care. And you begin living in the present moment, which is the here and the now. And this is where the abundance takes place. This is where doors of opportunity will be kicked wide open for you. This is where doors of possibilities will be presented to you. And this is when you can take a class, teach a class, read a book, write a book. You can sleep until 11 o'clock in the morning, or you can stay out till 3 o'clock in the morning, whatever you want to do. But you're doing what you want to do, when you want to do it, and with whom you want to do it. And maybe you fell back in love again. Maybe you struck up new friendships. Maybe you have traveled the world. Maybe you're still just comfortable being in your own skin by yourself. No matter what you're doing, you've healed or you are healing, and you no longer think the worst case situation. You are no longer wondering, ruminating, pining, thinking the worst case about where the narcissist is, what they're doing, and who they're with, because it flat out won't matter at one point. And when it doesn't matter, that's a great day. And believe me, if you haven't reached that day yet, you will. Stay on the path. Continue to go through the tunnel. See the light at the end of the tunnel and realize the tunnel is the healing path. And there will be dark days, there will be challenging days, but the more you stay in the tunnel and moving forward, the more you go through it and you face your fears, you face the pain, you get the rumination off your plate, you process what narcissism is, you learn the definitions in the glossary on the narcissistic abusive cycle, and you realize that you were targeted and they did this to so many people before you, and they did it with you, and they're doing it right now if they're still breathing air. Once you realize all those things and you get through that tunnel, the next thing you know, all the darkness is in the past. So's the narcissist. There's nothing but sunshine, abundance, ascension, elevation, and clarity. And that is where the mountaintop is. That's where the pinnacle of indifference is. That's where I'm standing, reaching my hands down, my arms down to lift you up and to take you where I am and where so many people are. And there are so many people I've helped arrive there. There is no room for toxicity on the mountaintop. There's no room for negativity or pessimism or people taking advantage of people. It's for those of us who are healing and who have healed. And once you get there, you will not go backwards because the view is too priceless and you paid a huge price tag to get that wisdom. And remember, before I close this video, that wisdom is a newfound superpower that you did not sign up for, you didn't want it, but yet you had to acquire it. And the only way to acquire it is to go through that tunnel, the pitch blackness, and to see that little speck, that little light at the end of the tunnel, and continue to put yourself back second by second, minute by minute, day by day, hour by hour, week by week, and eventually year by year. And you will arrive there. And believe me when I tell you, that pinnacle, that mountaintop, that view is the most amazing view once you get there. And so many people over the years have said, yeah, Andrew, you've been saying that for 4 years, but I never knew what you're talking about, but I do now. The reason those people know is because they've done the hard work. And many people I've had one-on-one sessions with have reached the mountaintop. Others I've never even met personally, and they've reached it. Because you know why? Because they stayed the course. They drowned out the narcissist. They focused on themselves. They went no contact, and they did not quit. That's what I did. That's what you're doing, and that's what we must do to get through that pitch blackness. There's only one way to get through it, and that's to go through the tunnel and see the light at the end of it. You can't go underneath it, you can't go over it, and you can't go around it. So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. I love you all. God bless you. I love you all. I'll talk to you tomorrow. And remember, you are not alone. No matter where you are on the planet, you are not alone. So if you are getting ready to go to bed right now, if you're waking up right now, if you're going to work, if you are on a beach, if you're on a plane, a train, an automobile, if you are at a friend's house, if you are just cuddled up on the couch watching this video with a nice warm cup of tea or a warm hot chocolate, or maybe you're drinking a lemon water, whatever you're doing, my big virtual hug and heart is going out to you. Play this video, play it a few times, and realize that if where you are is where you want to be, that's a great thing. If where you are is not where you want to be, there is work to be done. But don't stop. Don't ever stop. Don't quit. Don't ever quit. And don't give up. Don't ever give up. There is abundance waiting for you. And that abundance will happen to you, for you, and by you. But the abundance will only be presented to you when you leave the narcissist in the past and you drive away full speed ahead onto and into the mountaintop and the pinnacle of indifference. I love you all. God bless you. And I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Yeah.